Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to DuePoint on this lovely, cool Friday. Welcome to everyone who's tuned into the live stream. I hope the weather's as good on your side of the country. My name's Rob van der Bijl. I'm one of the executives here at DuePoint, and I'm going to go through the DuePoint opportunity for the next 45 minutes. Alrighty, so let's begin. So like I said, welcome to DuePoint. You're here at our head office. We're actually a division of another business called Constantia Insurance Company Limited. So that's Constantia's logo over there. That's their building in the background. They're based down the road from us in Randburg. They are a company that has been around for nearly 70 years. They were founded in 1952. So they've been around for a long time. They've stood the test of time. They're still thriving. They're doing well. They're part of another business called Conduit Capital, which is listed on the Joburg Stock Exchange. They are also a registered insurance company. And there are very few registered insurance companies in South Africa. This is one of them. So they go ahead and they underwrite a lot of the other, what we think are insurance companies, like Prime Meridian and King Price. Smaller insurance companies aren't actually registered insurers. A company like Constantia is one of the few registered insurers. That's the FSP number that we operate under, our financial services provider number, and you'll notice above the water cooler outside in the foyer, we've got all our FSP licenses on display. So we've got a short-term, a long-term insurance license, an investment license, as well as our FSP license, and our membership to the DSA and the DMA. So feel free, go check, look up our accreditation. It's very important for you guys to trust the business that you're potentially going to be looking at getting involved with, right? We all know there's a lot of schemes running around, floating around. I hope that you're able to look at us with some credibility at this point. Then we've got the individuals, our executive team, and the senior managers here at DuePoint. The three on the far left are all registered chartered accountants, clever people, right? Brendan, who you saw over here, is in the foyer. He likes to come see who's coming to the presentations. He's our senior executive. He's got a lot of experience in financial services, particularly in insurance, because their father is a professor of insurance who's been involved in insurance for 50 years, taught insurance at Wits for 25 years, founded Clientele Life and the IFA, and Brendan and his brother went on to follow in their father's footsteps, and together they founded Prime Meridian Direct, PMD, which is a very successful short-term insurer down the road. So we're very lucky to have someone of this caliber steering this division. Then we've got Tim Reynolds. He comes from the First Rand Group. We were lucky to get him on board. He heads up all our regulatory and accounting aspects, and then Stacey assists Tim. And she's been working at a consultancy called Deloitte. I think everyone knows a little company called Deloitte. And she was working in Europe, overseas, before she came back and joined our team. And then Jane and I, the two non-accountants, the not so clever ones. Eh? No, we're very clever. Jane's got a lot of experience in direct marketing, direct selling. She's from York in England, but she's been here for about 10 years, and she brings all of that knowledge with her to our team. And then me, I was working in marketing and advertising for most of my working career. I started a digital agency in 1999 and ran that fairly successfully. We operated quite heavily in financial services. We worked with Investec, ABSA, FNB, all those big banks, with a plethora of other businesses before I decided to leave that business and come join the team here at DuePoint. So we all have fairly diverse skills, different backgrounds. Brendan was very successful in forming this team. No one said no to him. Everyone that he approached said yes. So you can trust that this is the A team. It's not the B team. But more importantly, our mandate here at DuePoint is to see our wealth engineers that get involved in this business to be as successful as possible in this business. As a division, DuePoint can only be successful if our wealth engineers are successful. There's no other way for us to be successful in this business. And so we share common interest with you in wanting to see you be as effective as possible in what we're going to be discussing this afternoon. So, why have you been brought here? Our guests. How many guests are here? Just put your hand up quickly. How many guests? 1, 2, okay, good. As long as there are more guests than wealth engineers, otherwise the wealth engineers aren't doing their job. So you've been brought to this presentation. You might have been told very little about what DuePoint is. You've probably never heard of DuePoint before. And you probably came to the presentation on the premise of it being a financial opportunity, right? You want to make more money? That's really what we're going to be talking about. Exactly. And at this stage of the presentation, what we like to discuss are two aspects. One aspect is the economy, and the other aspect is debt. And both of these are fairly negative discussions, right? They're fairly depressing. The economy grew last year at 0.3%, which is absolutely dismal. We've seen that affect the job market, which all of us are in, right? And some of us might not be in it anymore because we've been retrenched. And that's just become a reality of South Africa's economy. Just seeing retrenchments happening left, right, and center in every industry, at every level, from the person that's just started working, that's earning the smallest salary, to people that are earning 100, 200,000 rand a month, all being retrenched, whether you're young or old. Zero discrimination when it comes to retrenchments, unfortunately. So it affects all of us. The other aspect that affects us is debt. Now, I tease my audience often when I talk about debt, because I know we love debt so much, right? You all love debt because you have so much of it. And when the bank offers you some more, you say yes. Hey? Debt is unfortunately crippling when it comes to especially retirement planning for us, because debt will put you in a position where you can't save or invest effectively towards your retirement, right? And that places us in a huge predicament, because when it's too late, it's too late. There's nothing you can do when you get to, right? We cannot change time. So when you get to that point, and usually it's too late, when you start getting closer to that point, it becomes a little more aware in your head. You start to think, oh my goodness, I'm retiring in 10 years and I haven't saved enough. And we see statistics that the FSB sends us, says people in a panic start saving only when they're in their 50s. When you're in your 50s, that's 30 years too late, right? Only 2% of the population, therefore, retires financially independent. 98%, that's all of us in the room, will get to retirement financially dependent on our kids, on family. We've got to downscale our lifestyles to such an extent that we can just survive every month, and that can be very stressful. And it's fairly sad, don't you think? Because you've worked for 40, 45 years only to be left in this position. And that's not what we want for our wealth engineers. So just to give you a little bit of a reality check, so there's your salary getting deposited into a bank account. And when that happens, you enter South African's fiscus, you get a tax number, and then you get offered all these different debt instruments. And we see people with numerous credit cards and clothing accounts and educational loans, people buying cars that they can't really afford, people buying houses that they agreed to pay off for 20 years, right? And only a small portion, if any, gets saved or invested. And then we find ourselves with this predicament called retirement. So here's some data that was published on the Fin24 website late last year. Look at the numbers at the top. How much money do you think you need to survive when you retire? 5,000 rand a month? Can you survive on 5,000 rand a month when you retire? 26,000 rand, that's a lot better, right? But this data tells you how much money you need to start saving. So if you want to retire, if you want to save towards your retirement responsibly, you can do so. So if you, at the age of 20 to 25 in the audience, you've got time. But you need to start now. Because if you want to survive on 5,000 rand a month, you have to have saved 1 million rand. 1 million rand will then pay you out in interest, 5,000 rand a month. And you'll eat into that capital. So you'll run out of that 1 million rand by the time you're about 90 years old. But you need to start off at 60 years old with 1 million rand in the bank just to survive on 5,000 rand. But you can do it. So if you're under the age of 25, you can do it. You start working, start putting 800 rand away every month for 40 years. This is what retirement planning looks like, guys. If you're not doing this, you're going to be in trouble. That's why only 2% of the population get it right. Because this isn't that, it seems unrealistic. 26,000 rand, you have to have 5 million rand in the bank. If you want to get to that position, you have to save 4,000 rand a month with a 7% escalation for 40 years. So Tim sent this to me. I didn't like this data. I got a fright when I got the data. I thought, jeez, I don't think I'm doing this. What does my retirement actually look like? At this stage of the presentation, I'm not trying to scare you. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to give you a reality check. A reality check, because sometimes we turn a blind eye to this. We make excuses month to month, year to year. 5 years go past, 10 years go past. If you have kids that are young, tell them to start saving now. Even if it's only 200 Rand a month or 300 Rand a month. Don't get to our age and realize you haven't done enough. Okay? But we find ourselves in this position anyway. And so out of this need, we saw the opportunity to create DuePoint. And so the DuePoint system was born about 2 years ago. We started planning the business and we launched the business last year in February. We have 3 aspirations for our wealth engineers. 1, to see you become debt-free. Debt-free. Not with nicer cars and fancier handbags and nicer shoes. We want to see you debt-free. No more debt. No debit orders going off your account. Your house is paid off. Your car's paid off. You put the kids through school 1 year in advance, you pay. Picture that, right? We don't picture that because we don't even know what it's like. The moment we got our first salary, we thought, whoa, what debit orders can I sign up to? Cell phone contract, this, that, right? We don't even know what life is like without debit orders coming off our accounts and putting us in debt. Out of all the South Africans in this country that are in debt, which is pretty much 100% of the adult population, 50% are under debt review. 50%. That's half the population that the bank's running after to try and get their money from. Not a great situation. So we want to see you. We really, really want to see you become debt-free. We take it very seriously, and you'll see how we reinforce that throughout the presentation. Our second aspiration is to see you start creating value in an investment that you have ownership over. Something that grows every month, that you can look forward to in 10 years or 20 years' time. And then our third aspiration is to see everyone smile a little more. Hey? We're in the middle of the month. All the money that got paid in your account at the beginning of the month is already gone. And you're wondering how you're going to get to the end of the month. So we want to see you smile. Because if you're debt-free and you're creating value in something that grows every month, I promise you, you're going to be smiling at the end of the month. Smiling. So we want you to connect with your dreams and aspirations again. It might be helping your kids or helping your community or doing whatever you want to do when you're in a situation where you're financially free. Okay, so those are the 3 aspirations. How does this all work? Our guests here this afternoon, you have the opportunity of joining this DuePoint system. What happens is you will contract with us, with DuePoint, and then we call you a wealth engineer. And as a wealth engineer, we want you to only do one thing, and that is to build what we call channels of distribution. And I'll show you what a channel of distribution looks like after this slide. And into these channels of distribution, through our website portal, we will place products with these people that you introduce to us. And this is basically how the whole system works. You get to create an additional income stream for yourself. It is the only way you can pay your debt off faster, is by creating an additional income stream. The system's not designed to replace your day job. It's there to supplement it, so you can pay off your house or your car or your personal loans or your educational loans or your credit cards off faster than what you're currently doing. You get to create recurring income. In this business, the effort that you put in results in these channels of distribution growing, and we don't pay you at the end of just the first month. It's not a once-off payment that you get here at DuePoint. We pay you at the end of the first month, and the second month, and the third month, and the fourth month. Ideally, you want to be in a position, say after 5 years, where you can take a 2-month holiday, and you're still getting paid in those months. It's the number one reason I left my business. We didn't create any residual income. No residual value in my business. I had to do the same amount of hours every month to bill the same amount of hours. And then at the end of the month, we started 0 again. If I went on holiday, I billed 0. If I took 1 day off, for that day, I billed 0. And at the end of the month, I would have to keep doing it over and over and again. I did that for 18 years. This business is the opposite of that. You get to leverage these channels of duplication that you build. So there's the power of duplication. You get to leverage all these people that you bring into your business, into these channels of distribution. So if you only have 2 hours to commit to this business a day, but you've got 10 individuals helping you, each committing 2 hours into the business, now you've got 22 hours being committed to this business, collaborating as a team for your financial benefit. Right? So if you only have 2 hours, but when you build these channels of distribution, you potentially have 4 hours or 6 hours or 20 hours or 200 hours, all going into your business. Okay? You're completely accountable to yourself. Sorry, I nearly skipped that step. So you get to decide how much time you want to spend in this business. Sometimes that's a good or sometimes it's a bad thing. You get a written warning if you come to work late, right? In this business, no written warning. You don't do the business, no one's going to phone you. I'm not going to send you a warning letter. I'm not going to phone and ask, where have you been? You're completely responsible for your own time. No startup capital. There's no product we're going to ask you to buy. That contract that I spoke of getting involved in, it's not a 12-month contract or a 24-month contract. It's just a month-on-month contract. Right? So we don't tie you into anything. It's a very low-risk endeavor that we're talking about. There's no qualifications or experience required. That's because we work in financial services. Financial services have got so many rules and regulations about what we can and can't do. It is crazy. You don't need to worry about any of that. We worry about that. You get to build an asset. If you're going to invest time in something, at least have some form of ownership over it. But in common employment, what do? We work for 40, 45 years in a business where we have no ownership over it. Nothing. Probably don't even have shares or a profit share in the business. We're just there to work. Like Pumi says, one of our wealth engineers. You study, you work, pay bills, then you die. As depressing as that sounds, right? Yeah, you have ownership over that channel of distribution. You can sell it. You can give it to your kids when you get too old to work. If something happens to you, it can be ceded to them as beneficiaries. Right? So you're building an asset. No selling involved. Our guests here this afternoon, who thought they were going to be asked to sell something? You did, right? There's no selling involved, guys. Not 1% of selling involved. No selling at all. Nothing. Some people are looking very confused at the moment. It'll become more apparent what you need to be doing. You're going to be building channels of distribution. It is not selling. The nature of our business are financial products. So like I said, you don't have to buy product to get started in this business. You don't have to put it in your car, in your boot, find space at home. It doesn't expire. It doesn't smell. When you start doing better at the business, it doesn't mean you have to go buy more product. Can you imagine buying 10,000 rands worth of product and then you get injured maybe, right? Or you get sick for a month, bad flu, and you find out the product expires at the end of the month. Now you're going to be selling, right? You don't have to worry about any of that. We make this business as simple and as convenient for you to get involved with as possible, and as low risk as possible for you. What are the channels of distribution? This is what you're going to be doing. You're going to be telling other people about the DuePoint opportunity, like the person who invited you did. That's all you're doing. That's all you ever do in this business. There's no selling. You don't discuss product. You don't try to sell product. You don't talk about product. You talk about a business opportunity in which someone can start making an additional income stream for themselves. And that appeals to everyone in this country because we're all faced with the same debt and the same economy. So you go out and you tell 5 people. Those 5 people, let's say you tell 10 people. 5 people say no, 5 people say yes. I'll come listen to Rob on a Friday afternoon. And when they join DuePoint and we're able to place a product with them, that is the beginning of your channel of distribution. And then they'll go out and they'll speak to their friends and acquaintances and colleagues and family. And a few more will join. All of this business was on your original efforts. We spoke about power duplication. How much effort did it take to bring 5 people into the business? Look what the potential can become. So if you're looking 5 years down the line or 10 years down the line, this is what your channel could look like. You're getting paid for every single little dot on the screen. And another week will go past and a couple of more dots will appear. And another week will go past and a couple of more dots will appear. And your asset, your channel of distribution, will pay you more at the end of next month and more at the end of the following month. So you see there's no selling involved. How do you earn here at DuePoint? Sorry, my disclaimer slide. This is where I warn everybody. If you've ever had the pleasure of trying to start your own business, you will realize and appreciate how difficult it is. 95% of new businesses fail within the first year. 95%. Who would ever want to start a business with those odds? Right? But that's the fact. Businesses are very difficult to make successful, let alone just to keep alive. And this is no different. I mentioned all the schemes floating around South Africa that promise you a 50% return on your money. Oh no, just put the money in here and then next week we give you 50% on top of that. How many people have been involved in that scam and lost money? There are scams floating all over the place. Anyone that promises you easy money is lying to you. They are lying to you. There is no other way to success except for hard work. No other way. Impossible. You even look at lotto winners. Do you know that the majority of lotto winners lose all their money within the first 24 months? And we're talking big money. You go look at those lottos in Europe and in the States, billions of rands. They lose all of it in 2 years. What have they done with it? I don't know. But the universe says, you didn't work for it, you don't get to keep it. You have to work hard. In this business, it is no different. And so I don't want you to have short-term expectations. Short-term expectations is less than a year. I need you to look at this business and go, what can it do for me in 3 years' time, or 5 years' time, or 10 years' time, or by the time I'm retired? Because we need to just make these small efforts. I'm not asking you for big efforts. What human beings try to do is we try to overachieve in the first year. We have these huge expectations, always short-term, and we actually don't realize how much we can actually achieve in the longer term. But because we have too much expectation in the first year, it often leads to frustration and giving up. Instead of just saying, I don't care where I am after the first year. Let me just keep at it. Persistency, consistency, hard work. In 5 years' time, you will make a massive impact on your finances if you do that. Okay. So, how do we pay our wealth engineers? We pay them what we call returns, right? At the end of every month, we pay our wealth engineers a return. We pay you a base return fee of 27.50 Rand for every product that we can place in your channel. Okay? So remember the first 5 individuals that you brought to the business? These are people that you know personally. They lie on your first point. On your first point, we actually pay you double the 27.50 Rand. So we're paying you 55 Rand for every product. But remember, it's recurring income. So we're not paying you only at the end of March. We pay you again at the end of April. And then at the end of May and June and July. You've created recurring income for yourself. And those friends went out and introduced other people. And we were able to place a product with them. They lie on your second point. 2 points away from you. And again, we pay you 55 Rand on your second point. And then on your third point, we pay you 27.50 Rand. To your fourth point, to your fifth point, all the way down to your eighth point. Your eighth point is 4% of the 27.50 Rand, so we're paying you 1.10 Rand. But we don't limit you on your eighth point. We will pay you that 4% of 27.50 Rand from your eighth point to infinity, in theory. Right? So we don't limit you on how big your channel can become or how much you can earn at DuePoint. There's no limit on it. The only limit you're going to find is when you give up after month 3. Then it'll stop. Can you see why you have to have a long-term vision for this business, not short-term? So this is the mechanics of how we pay our wealth engineers, right? Fairly basic to understand. What we did with the accountants, we asked, we need to show the guests how much they're going to earn after a certain amount of time. Because you're all asking that. Okay, 55 Rand, but how much do you think I can make after 3 months or 6 months or a year or 5 years. And so they put together a growth model. It assumes that if you become a guest, you can add 3 people into the business in the first month. You think you can do that? 3 people? 3 people in March, okay? And then in April, you only have to bring in 2. May, another 2. June, another 2. So we call it the 3 plus 2 growth model. If you can do that, you can expect to earn close to what these numbers show us. 2,500 rand a month after 6 months of work. Too much? Too little. 6 months of work for 2,500 rand a month? I'm hoping that you're going to take that 2,500 rand and put it into your debt. Right? Let me illustrate some debt. Here's an example of a R1 million bond. So this person found a nice house for R1 million, and they went to the bank. They said, "Bank, I don't have R1 million. Please, can I have a bond?" And the bank said, "How much do you earn?" And you say, "I earn 25,000 rand a month." The bank says, "Okay, looks like you can afford the house. I'll give you the R1 million cash. You go buy the house, but you're going to pay me back for 20 years. You're going to pay me back 12,000 rand every month based on the interest rate," right? We all know how a bond works. You join DuePoint, and 6 months later, you're earning 2,500 rand a month. And we're not going to buy nice handbags or nice shoes or go for big lunches. We're going to put the 2,500 rand into our debt. You decide to put it into that R1 million bond. By doing that, you're going to pay your house off after 11.5 years. That little 2,500 rand is going to save you R1 million in repayments. Doesn't that sound crazy? The house cost R1 million. You're putting only 2,500 rand extra into the bond, and it saves you R1 million in repayments. Because you're paying back the bank. If you do the full 20-year term, you're paying back the bank 2.5 times the value of the house. That little 2,500 rand will save you R1 million. So on our 4th slide, early in the presentation, where I said you need to save R1 million to give yourself 5,000 rand a month when you retire, you all thought, how am I going to save R1 million? 6 months away. Put the extra money into your debt. Debt is crippling. It will set you back. Right? After 12 months, you're already at nearly 10,000 rand. That's in excess of 100,000 rand a year that you've now created for yourself. After 24 months, you're nearly 30,000 rand. How big is that jump? 10,000 in 1 year, then to 30,000 in 2 years. That's residual value that grows every month, right? That's your channel of distribution growing and growing and growing. After 3 years, nearly 50,000 rand a month. A 5 million rand bond, you can pay that 5 million rand bond off in less than 7 years if you put that extra money into your bond. Don't wait 20 years to pay off your bond. That's why people only start saving when they're in their 50s, because they took the bond out when they were 30. They took the 20-year bond. They only finished paying the house off in their 50s. When they were 50, only then were the kids out the house and out of school. And for the first time in your life, when you're in your 50s, do you have extra money. That's what we see with the majority of South Africans. You keep going. After 4 years, you're nearly 75,000 rand a month. After 5 years, 60 months, you're on about R1 million annually. It's a long time to make a commitment. 5 years. Is it a long time? Can you remember what you were doing 5 years ago? The same thing, right? Not smiling at the end of the month. 20 years of my working life have flashed by me. Flashed by me. I often look in the mirror and think, what have I done in the last 20 years? Right? I try to do everything too short term. Too short term. Instead of committing to things long term. If I'd started working when I was 21 and thought, let me put a third of my salary. When I was young, you can do that. You're not supporting kids. You're not paying off bonds and all of that. You've got extra money when you're younger. But what we do is we go spend it all because we think life is fantastic. Commit to the long term. Commit to the long term. So you might think, well, this is great in theory, and this is only theory. This is based on that example, 3 plus 2, that the accountants came up with. You can do less than 3 plus 2. If you join and you don't put anyone in March and you don't put anyone in April, then you are doing 0 plus a 0. And then how much do you earn at the end of the month? 0. Exactly. But you can do more than 3 plus 2 if you want to. We've got wealth engineers, lots of them, that do more than 3 plus 2. Here's Eugene. 6 months, already nearly 4,000 Rand a month. Look how it's jumped. Have you tried asking your boss where you work for a raise every month? We don't, eh? We're not that brazen. Norma in KZN, up every month. She's been here less time, 5 months. November, December, January, February, 4.5 months. She should be at about 1,800 Rand if she was doing 3 plus 2. She's doing more. Chichi, also KZN. You're thinking to me, oh, these are actors. Someone accused me of that last year. No, those guys are all actors on that presentation. So, sitting in the front here, one of our hardest working wealth engineers, committed to the process. Not 1 week on, 1 week off, 1 month on, 1 month off. Here, almost every day. Every day. Spamandla, look at those numbers. At the beginning of October, he had never heard of DuePoint once. And then he got a phone call on the 16th of October. Someone phoned him and said, Spa, I've sent you a link. Look at the website. And that's where it all began for him. Guys, we are paying hundreds of wealth engineers every month that are earning with DuePoint. Some are moving slowly, some are moving very quickly. It is up to you. Up to you. And these are not special individuals. I tell everyone, they don't have degrees in human behavior or psychology. They aren't hypnotists. They're just committing time to this business. And at the end of this presentation, that's the decision you need to make. You can get excited about the numbers and the money, and you start dreaming about what life's going to look like, the rich lifestyle. But your decision has to be, what am I going to sacrifice? What am I going to give up to fit DuePoint in? You want to do numbers like this? You need to commit a lot of time in your day to do numbers like this. They've achieved this in 11 months. 11 months. And that is growing. The number is growing every month. Come to another presentation next year this time. The numbers are going to be a lot bigger. It takes sacrifice. So those were the returns, right? That's the one way we pay our wealth engineers. We've got another way. We call it the XP Rewards Program. We reward our wealth engineers for the success they have at DuePoint, over and above what we're paying them in the form of returns. So all these little blocks floating past are typical wealth engineer behavior, like coming to an intro presentation, bringing guests, logging into the website, watching training, watching the videos online. If you do all of those things, we give you something called XP, experience points. And when you start collecting all this XP, this stuff, and you start having success in building your channel, you start to rank up in the XP Rewards Program, right? So here's the whole table. If you join this afternoon, you will be rank 0. Rank 0, because you've done 0 plus a 0 so far. But within 24 hours even, you can become rank 1. You need 1,000 XP, and you need 4 products in your qualified channel. And when that happens, suddenly you become a rank 1 wealth engineer. And we give you a 55 Rand reward, over and above what we're paying you. Remember, if you've got 4 products, we're paying you 220 Rand at the end of the month. But you'll jump to rank 1 and we'll give you an extra 55 Rand. And then when you start growing this XP and you get more and more XP and your channel size begins to grow too, you start to rank up. Then you rank 2. Now you're getting a 100 Rand bonus at the end of the month. 400 Rand, 1,500 Rand, 20,000 Rand, 50,000 Rand. We give tools to our wealth engineers to help them be more effective at building their channels. So as Patrick and Pumi, your lightning memory stick, got all our videos on there. Intro presentations, training, testimonials, everything goes on there. They can show the business to anyone, anywhere, anytime. Here's Donnie with his rank 7 premium luxury business cards. They cost us 12,500 Rand to manufacture, these cards. They are gilded. You see the edge of the business card? It gets gilded in gold by an old man who lives in Cape Town. Handmade. The logo, foiled in gold on the front. They're 4 times thicker than any card. They feel like suede. Because no one's heard of DuePoint. But I promise you, if I say I work for DuePoint and I give you a business card that costs 12,500 Rand, you're going to think, where does this guy work? Right? And then you might give me a little more attention than you might have before. Rank 9. This is not a once-off reward. All those other rewards are once-offs. The money's once-off, the tools are once-off. But when you get to rank 9, you get to enjoy this every single year. Become part of the rank 9 club. We take you and your family, business class flights, to an international conference, which is a 5-star luxury resort, all expenses paid, for 7 days. Not at the end of 1 year, every year. Every year. This is where we're going this year. Take a look. There are wealth engineers that have already qualified for this. Everyone in this room has potential to get to rank 9.
All of your wind has gone, and all of the paths you've drawn have sunk to the ocean sun where no one can see. You stand, don't let the dark embrace, cower the dreams you chase under the rust and blood. Don't let yourself give up.
Can you imagine it? Do you believe it? Can you get passionate about it? Can you commit to it? And can you last through all that endurance that it takes to get there? Everyone gets excited about rank 9. You need to get to rank 1 first. You get to rank 1 first, then it's rank 2. Rank 9 is down there. Spamandla is probably going to get there within 6 months. Patrick and Pumi, 11 months. So if you can do it in under a year, you're doing really well. But I think it's worth 2-3 years of commitment to go on a 200,000 Rand family vacation. Every year. You don't have to check how much money is in your bank account. How many of us have to have a family meeting, check how much money we got before we can go on holiday? Right? You think, oh, December, no one's getting debit orders paid this month. I'm going on holiday. Rank 11. Can you see we're serious about seeing our wealth engineers become debt-free? This is yours. We buy the car cash and give it to you. That's it. Not you keep it for 6 months, or you get to rank 11, we buy the car, it's yours. No DuePoint stickers. That's only rank 11. It goes to 20. But to get to 20, you've got to be here for the next 10, 15, 20 years. We have another incentive that's almost ended. It ends at the end of this month. Easter weekend, all expenses paid trip for the family, business class tickets again, 5-star luxury boutique hotel in Franschhoek in the Cape. We've got a full 4 days itinerary planned for the families that have qualified for this conference. There are 1 or 2 guys that are close but not quite there yet. So I remind them they need to work extra hard to get there. The month is not finished yet. Okay? You work harder than you've ever worked to get to this. You don't want to miss it by just that much. Then we have a wealth quest that we run every month. So this is over and above everything else. A wealth quest. This is a challenge that we put to our wealth engineers every month. It's a different one with different rewards. So this month, if we're able to place 20 Wealth Points program memberships in your first and second point before the end of March, we will give you entertainer code, which has got 1.2 million rands worth of buy one, get one free vouchers. Plus, we'll give you 100 gigs of data. And on the 1st of April, we'll have a new Wealth Quest with new rewards. You look in the merchandise cabinet, you'll see all the winners in the past, holding iPads and iPhones and 100 gigs of data packs and all kinds of things. Okay. To explain our business model, so that I don't get asked after the presentation, this is how we afford to pay our wealth engineers. Traditional business spends a lot of money on marketing and advertising, right? We all know that. Any business spends a lot of money. We see all the advertising, right? We get bombarded by it on a daily basis. DuePoint doesn't do any advertising. We rely on our wealth engineers through word of mouth to tell people who DuePoint is and what we do. And so we don't spend the billions that insurance companies spend on marketing and advertising. Instead, we take that portion of the premium and we pay it to you, to our wealth engineers, in the form of those returns and rewards. Straightforward. Alrighty, what are the products? We've got 3 products. You can take out 1 product or all 3 products. It's up to you. They have all different benefits that speak into our lives from a financial perspective. The first one is an investment product, 299 Rand a month, of which 100 Rand gets invested into a tax-free investment fund in your name, which you can draw out very quickly. It's not a notice deposit. And on top of the investment, we give you 110,000 Rands worth of personal accident cover. It's cover which covers you in the case of you dying in an accident. So you get shot or stabbed, fall off a ladder, killed in a car accident, whatever the case. Primary way most of us under the age of 60 die anyway. Okay? The second product is an insurance product. 274 a month. You get 1.1 million Rands worth of personal accident cover. And that's it. Simple, straightforward insurance product. The third product is called the Wealth Points Buyers Club program. Okay? This product allows you to save money on the money that you are spending every month anyway. So if you become a member of the Wealth Points, you get access to that list of partners over there. It's 274 Rand a month. 100 of that gets converted into Wealth Points, okay? And you're able to enjoy the discounts that we've negotiated with those partners. So we've got some big ones there. ShopRite Checkers. You can get 2.5% off your entire trolley at ShopRite Checkers all the time. How much money do we spend on groceries every month? Right? We got Eagle Ford there. You want to buy a car? You go get the best package available at Eagle Ford. So we've got a whole bunch of partners, retail partners, all kinds of things there. That list is growing all the time. We're always adding partners to this program. If you want immediate benefit out of any of the products, this is probably the product to have. So those are the 3 products. If you have any questions, I'm around after the presentation. I'll answer any questions that you have on the products. I remind you of the support that we have here. Remember, I told you our mandate at DuePoint is to support our wealth engineers. I'm here to support you, to see you become successful. Otherwise, my business can't be successful. It's predicated on your success. And so we've set up everything, our facilities, to support you. You can use our presentation rooms. You can use our boardrooms. You can use the free Wi-Fi. You can drink all the free tea and coffee. Use the iPads, the breakout rooms. We live stream to the entire country every single day to support you guys. So lean into that support. Use it. Learn. There's a learning curve in this business. Learn over the next 6 months. Decision time. Remember that decision I told you needed to make? What was it? What are you going to sacrifice if you are going to do this business? All of us are busy in the day. All of us, right? From the moment you wake up, you've already got the clock set. Got to get up at this time, got to get through work, got to do this for the kids, do that, make dinner, da-da-da-da-da-da. The day is full. How are you going to fit DuePoint in? If you think you're just going to join this business and just do DuePoint, you're going to be rank 0 for a long time. What are you going to sacrifice? You decide today if you join DuePoint. Right, I'm putting in 1 hour a day. What does that mean? It means your spouse is going to be cooking dinner while you're working. Or you're going to get up earlier. You decide what it is. But this business comes at a cost, and that cost is time and effort. No get-rich-quick schemes here. Hard work for 5 years. Can you do that? What are the rewards after 5 years? Financial freedom, a retirement that looks great. But we've got a lot of wealth engineers that join. I don't see them again. Lots. Why? They all got excited by the rank 9 video, and then they joined. They didn't do anything. I don't want to see you guys do that. I want to see you start making change in your life. But it comes at a cost. You don't want to be listening to me on a Friday. You could be enjoying your lunch at your office. But we're here because we have to do it. We don't have a choice. So make it work for you. We make joining very easy. Like I said, we've got free Wi-Fi. We've got iPads out in the breakout rooms. If you've got your own smartphone or tablet, you can jump onto our website, click on the big blue apply button. You become a wealth engineer in 7 minutes. 7 minutes. You can start working on getting to rank 1 today. Today, before you get home tonight. Everything's online. You can speak to people and say, jump online. Look, this is what DuePoint does. You want to watch Rob's introductory presentation that I watched at lunchtime? It's already on YouTube. Let's watch it together. Today. Not when you feel like it later. I remind you, the YouTube channel, everything we do gets put onto the YouTube channel. Everything. So subscribe to it. It'll tell you then when we load new videos onto it. We've got mobile apps for Android and devices, iPads, iPhones. You can run your business from the palm of your hand. Everything on that app tells you about your business. Guys, I thank you for your time. We are done now. I'm around if you have any questions. Have a lovely weekend. I hope to see a lot of you next week. Thank you.